Sometimes people meet through games and become lifelong friends, or in some cases, romantic partners. But sadly for Metal Gear fans, Konami says no. That's not allowed.
Games journalist Matt Paprocki recently decided to have a little read of the End User License Agreement, or EULA, for the newly released Metal Gear Survive. In his reading, Paprocki found something pretty weird. The game's publisher Konami actually forbids players from some insanely specific things, up to and including starting a romantic relationship with other Metal Gear Survive players. In the EULA, Konami say players cannot, quote, seek a relationship with another person or act that Konami determines is made for the main purpose of causing a relationship, brackets, including relationships, acts, and socializing limited to within the content. So, if you agree to the EULA and then meet the person of your dreams during a multiplayer session of Metal Gear Survive, then forget it. Konami says no.
I would like to see them try and enforce that, right? What are they going to do? What are you going to do, Konami?
Genuinely banning love. That's
a sorry place for the world to be in. And what if you meet somebody, right, in real life, and they just happen to play the game the same as you?
That's it. No, you're
not allowed because they play Metal Gear as well, and Konami going to send the police around.
You can be in a relationship, but they have the rights to make a pachinko machine out of it. That's the only condition.
But forbidding relationships isn't the only weird thing Konami decided to include in the EULA. Players are not allowed to use Metal Gear Survive to arrange meetings for the purposes of sexual or obscene acts.
What has happened to make them put that in their f***ing agreement?
Something must have happened. So if you were planning on using Metal Gear Survive as a substitute for Tinder, then Konami says you're not allowed to do that either. Konami also bans any type of political campaigning within the game as well. According to the EULA, players cannot, quote, campaign for pre-election campaign or participate in politics or other similar acts. So for those politicians and activists who were planning on using the game as a political platform, you're fresh out of luck. That means no Q&A sessions with potential voters, no town hall meetings with other Metal Gear players, and no political speeches are given while playing Metal Gear Survive. I was going to run for office.
Yeah,
President
me
of PGG, but what am I going to do now?
It's just so weird. They just for some reason are really scared of it turning into a dating service or something. That's got to be what it is. This is why would you be that specific about it? What are they afraid of? There's been cases in the past of people marrying because of the way they met online. They've been playing MMOs together or something, and they maybe a lot of the time haven't even met each other in real life, and for a long time, but still they end up getting married. That's a great thing, right? That's a good thing. Konami says no, because why?
Because they're sad, pathetic losers, Mike, and they don't know what love is. I mean,
it's so weird.
I played Sims Online in the past and got married to a character. That was a bit different. But I guess it's positively encouraging them types of games. You're fostering some sort of community, some sort of connection with other people.
It's happiness.
It's
happiness, and Konami obviously aren't cool with that because
don't want us to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a pretty weird and specific clause in the EULA for Metal Gear Survive. So it got us thinking, what other games might we have had the same thing happen on and just click the box without even checking it? And the results are pretty interesting. Let's take a look.
Back in 2008, open world FPS Far Cry 2 banned players from using the game contrary to morality. Well, whose morality is that exactly? What if you consider an FPS about shooting the f*** out of and otherwise violently murdering almost all the human beings you encounter to be immoral? Are you banned from playing Far Cry 2? Who the f*** wrote this? Contrary to morality. Contrary to the law, I can get behind that. You can't use this game for anything illegal. But contrary to morality, well, it's like, is this Christian morality? Is this what world religion's morality is this? Is this an atheist morality? Who put that in there?
Back in 2011, if you hit accept on the PlayStation Network's terms and conditions, you agreed to the following. Any dispute resolution proceedings, whether in arbitration or court, will be conducted only on an individual basis and not in a class or representative action. So, by agreeing to this mandatory update, you signed away your right to a class action lawsuit, commonly the most effective form of lawsuit when individuals group together against a massive company like Sony over the same issue. Now, you could opt out by sending a political letter to Sony, but that's assuming you'd be bothered to do it in the first place. And, of course, that you actually read the flipping EULA. Oh, and by the way, the EULA for EA's Origin included exactly the same language.
So this is the kind of thing you do see a lot in these EULAs, where you say any kind of variation of "you can't sue us," and that the PSN is an important one because obviously PSN was hacked, 70 million accounts compromised or whatever it was, so they didn't want people to be filing class action lawsuits against them. So they just put it in the license agreement. You want to use PSN, then you've got to agree to not sue the shit out of us.
I'm pretty sure that if it did come to a class action lawsuit, that any decent lawyer worth his salt would get that thrown out straight away, because Sony, you're trying to sneak that in there, the little bastards, because of the potential class action lawsuit. I want to form a class action lawsuit against them just for doing that, the bastards.
For the cheek of it.
The cheek of it.
And back in the olden days when iTunes looked like this, Apple made users agree to an EULA that banned them from using iTunes to create nuclear weapons. That's no missiles, no biological weapons, no chemical weapons, no nukes. That was genuinely in the EULA for iTunes.
I mean, it's lucky I went to Google Play for my nukes. I mean,
smart move.
Just worked around it. And one little line in the agreement for Google Chrome, which was removed in 2008, effectively meant Google owned anyone who agreed to it. Quote, "You give Google a perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, royalty-free and non-exclusive license to reproduce, adapt, modify, translate, publish, publicly perform, publicly display and distribute any content which you submit, post or display on or through the services." So, in other words, Google claimed an endless license to do basically anything they wanted with what you put online. They could, for example, publish and publicly display your online banking passwords and everything else you did online. But don't worry, it was a mistake and Google quickly removed the offending clause.
So that was a quick tour of the weirdest and worst EULAs. Nobody reads them. Who's going to read them before agreeing? You just click accept and fire away, but there's a lot.
You just want to get to your game, don't you? You just want to get to your game.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it's not even your game. You just want to use the internet or something, and you've got to agree to stuff all the time. And there's stuff they hide in there that's the same. Like, we've just got a list put together here. It's like you don't actually own your game, you're just licensing it out. That's the classic one. A lot of the downloadable games that you download on Steam and stuff, you don't own them. You don't own your Steam library.
Take it away at any point, and you've agreed to that.
You're renting it, and when you die, it doesn't pass on to your next of kin like property. You just don't get to use it. Yeah. The EULA can change at any time, so all this shit that you haven't read that you've agreed to might change, which is
fair, which seems fair enough. We'll change the rules whenever we want.
There's all kinds of variations on don't sue us, no class action lawsuits, you're not allowed to take us to court for specific things. Variations of we're allowed to spy on you, we can track your data, we can collect your passwords, your usernames. All this stuff is just buried in EULAs that no one ever checks. So when something like this Metal Gear Survive madness comes out, I guess it's just a reminder that, I don't know, I'm not going to ask you to read your EULAs because I'm not going to fucking do it, but it's just crazy, isn't it?
Talking of crazy, let's check out what you said in our videos this week.
So first up is Starfish Central, who says, "Why do people have to cheat in games? I am not the greatest gamer, but I would never dream of cheating." That's always my reaction whenever we do a cheating story. I'm like, why? What's the point? Who's getting anything out of this?
It's the losers, isn't it? The ones who perpetually lose. They play, they lose, they're shit. They want to win. They want to taste victory.
It makes it even, like, what, in that case, lean into the shit. Just be like, yeah, I'm shit. I don't care. I'm having a good time. Instead, you've gone, I need to win, and I'm willing to pay someone to do it. Fucking tragic, mate.
Wow. Tragic, mate. Next up, James says, "The type of shampoo Gareth uses remains a mystery. One day I will find out, and one day I will somehow gain a DNA strand of him, and one day I'll fabricate my own clone of him so I can 1v1 him in a game of checkers. I'm such a genius, like the PUBG devs." Sarcasm.
That's very, so is that last sentence changes everything.
Yeah.
Into being a comment on the way that the PUBG is kind of taken from something like H1Z1, King of the Kill, I guess.
Yeah, it's a very clever comment.
Intelligent.
Yeah. He thought it was going one way, then it...
Good work, James.
He proves that he's actually a clever guy and not just some crazy psycho, which I'm quite pleased about.
I was not thinking. Oh yeah, the DNA strand in the...
Yeah, I mean,
that is
No, I was getting scared, but then I read the last line and I was like, yeah.
You're right, that is
that.
Psycho. And next up is young_Padawan, who observes, I love how the background is so obviously green screen. We've never tried to hide that, I don't think. It is green screen. Maybe we can just not key it for just this bit. This is green screen.
Ta-da!
Green. There's actually a conversation underneath. Someone says, no, it's not. That's actually just a massive television playing gameplay behind us.
Yeah, if only we could afford a massive television, we wouldn't have to green screen it. But you know, we're on a YouTube budget, unfortunately.
So obviously green screen.
Next up, Joe Trotsky comments, thanks gents, I now have a new saying, wouldn't say boo to a goose. I've been collecting sayings lately from one of my colleagues in the UK, with my favourite so far being, I don't want to piss on your chips. That is a great saying. I don't want to piss on your chips. Who wants to piss on anyone else's chips?
That's the point of the saying, isn't it?
Wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, it is weird. It's amazing, like how different countries have got sayings that in that country it's just everyone's saying it all the time. But then you take one step out of that country and it's like, why would you piss on someone's chips?
But we say it automatically, right? We don't consider it. But then you think about it. Think about the actual words and the meaning. It's like, yeah, I can see why
chip
that's
pissing.
confusing.
Like who said it first, and then who went? Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate. And lastly, Nathan Abel says, I had a completely random thought. Are McDonald's Happy Meals technically the first loot boxes? Yeah, you're absolutely right, mate. We need to get a petition going.
Regulate that shit.
Speak to your MPs. This is not acceptable. Just a kid.
Mobilise.
A kid buying a box. He doesn't know what toy he's going to get. Gambling, mate. Gambling in McDonald's.
So what is the weirdest thing that you've ever agreed to without your knowledge? Let us know down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Check out another video on your screen there. Support us on Patreon if you are pretty good. We will see you again in the next video. And until then, bye for now.